happening?
With the Land Geek guys, what is going on this evening?
Whoa, I didn't know it was nightcap shirt night.
Yeah, it's nightcap shirt
Nice
night.
to have a nightcap shirt.
It actually, let's start the show by promoting a wonderful shirt.
Shave your head. Shave your
Sales
head.
are closed on that thing. Sales are closed. Yeah, Mark announced on when was it? I think he announced on coffee. Huh?
What, I don't understand. I missed. It was on sale for like a week, a day.
Yeah.
What happened?
Yeah, you had a week to hit 100 shirts. You didn't do it. The hair's coming off.
That'll be post boot camp.
Right.
I could shave his head live at boot camp.
We are having a nightcap that night, Friday night nightcap. So that would be an entertaining episode.
The shaving of the head.
I have a way I'm going to unveil it around Halloween. I have a whole strategy.
All right. I
I'm
like it.
All right.
So what's up,
anyway,
Land Geek? What's up?
Talk about land.
What's up, Land Geek Nation? Nice to see you here again. So nightcap, if some of you are tuning in for the first time, is an excuse for us three to get together and talk land investing and reach out to the community and answer some questions about land investing.
Questions.
So we love answering questions. And if you have burning questions about the business, whether you're new to the business or you're right in the thick of it, we would love to attempt to answer those questions. So throw them up there. We're here for you. And what'd you say, Zaino?
We love answers as well.
I can't hear you very well. I don't know if Forbes can or not. But yes, we love answers as well.
I can't hear him now.
Testing.
You're
Boston Zano testing.
hello down there. You're in
Testing.
a tunnel.
Yeah, your mic is broken there, guy.
Someone's watching. Yo yo yo. They say. Nice to talk. Nice to see you, Facebook user.
Where do you see that?
Comes up on my Ecamm Live.
Oh. Okay. All right.
But yeah. So what's going on with you guys? What's going on with the land investing this week? Mike Zaino, how's the business going? What's going on? Can't hear you. Matt Forbes.
Yeah.
After your killer September. You like that? Killer September. How was the first week in October?
Back to normal.
Okay.
Deal or two a week, which is fine. But we're like one deal away from hitting 10K, which was a big milestone for us. So
I thought you told Mark Podolsky it was going to be a couple months.
I know. I said we should hit it next month. I thought we were going to hit it the next day. And we had a couple people who backed out, which was too bad. But, we're right there. Like 98, 59, or like we're right. We're like one guy. Just give me one guy. So, yeah, we're excited. So maybe by next week.
Can I be the guy that... no, I'm just kidding.
I'll buy that, man.
Do you have any property to land arb me? I'll be the guy that gets you over the hump. I would love that.
It could be the other way around. I think I need that 20 I wholesaled you, so we should probably work on that.
Let's work on that tomorrow, shall we? Keith Forche is watching. Keith does have a question. Chris Hernandez says hello. WJ says hello. The yo-yo-yo came from Brad Donzie.
Brad Donzie.
Brad Donzie. Sounds like Fonzie.
That's it.
Keith Forche has a great question. Here we go. Are we finding prices going up on vacant land right now, fellas? Mike Zaino?
In some areas, yeah, and in other areas, no. So it kind of depends on where you're working. I think the more popular areas that they're going up a little bit.
Yeah, I would agree. I think in some areas we're having to increase our offer prices to get our response rate. But on the other hand, we've been able to push the price up on the sales side a little bit. So I think
they're just sort of going up together. So I don't think it's an issue. But yeah, I think you gotta.
I think the only issue is.
Wow, what's up, Mean Gene Oakland?
I think the only issue is if you are in one of those hot markets where the market is changing rapidly, the question then becomes, how do you get in tune with that, Forbes? And how do you adjust? What are your thoughts on that?
We just raised our prices, not a lot. I mean, we didn't go up a ton, raised them a little bit, and sent more mailers.
So you're
kind of maybe we should be more scientific about it.
So is it based mostly on your response rate? Is it so you have a low response rate? You're just going to tweak the pricing, or do you go back and do a thorough pricing analysis in the county? What's your approach there?
I haven't done it for the last in the next few weeks, right? So we'll look at all the offers and what the response rate is, and see what the scoop is, and if we need to raise the price, we can. But look, I know super successful investors who are like, I haven't raised anything. What's wrong with you? Why are you raising the prices? And I'm like, I don't know. I don't know. I thought I should, because the guys, maybe people telling me they had other offers that were a little bit more than mine.
Yeah.
So some people care, some people don't, and you just got to do what you want to do.
Well, and again, I think it comes down to hitting the right person on the right day, number one, and number two, even though there are people out there who claim that the land market is saturated and people are getting 5 offers a week, that's just not happening.
Oh yeah, what a load of crap that is. But yeah,
I mean, somebody might get an offer, even if they get an offer once a month, right? A $1,700 offer today just might not. What's the word I'm looking for? Might not register with them when a $1,600 offer a month from now registers for whatever reason.
Yeah, I'm buying a piece of property. I've mailed this guy 4 times, right? And we almost had a deal, not the last time, but the time before that, and then it fizzled. Right. And then he accepted again. He's like, no, I really got to get rid of it this time. And we're like, are you sure? Okay. It's so bad, even I know your name on a spreadsheet. That's how bad that is, buddy. But, yeah, whatever, right? So, I mean, you can let that stuff slow you down, or you can say, okay, I'll go mail more, whatever, right? I recommend B.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mail more, don't give up. Zeno, are you with us?
I believe so.
Hey, there he is. Nice to talk to you. Missed your voice.
Actually, that's a good. All right, that's a good segue to my Steve Jobs quote that my wife sent me. Are you ready for that?
Oh, okay, good.
It's a 2-paragraph thing. So Steve Jobs said, "You cannot connect the dots looking forward. You can only connect them looking backwards. So you have to trust the dots will somehow connect in your future. You have to trust in something, your gut, destiny, life, karma, whatever. This approach has never let me down, and it has made all the difference in my life."
I love it.
I was like, wow. My regular job, I'm like, I should make more cold calls. And then in this job, I'm like, yes, that's exactly correct. Right? You don't know. You just got to go do it. And you'll figure it out. Go mail. Hurry up. To the point of the last email I got. Are you ready for this?
Yeah.
I will read you part of this email. Nearing your Lobs account volume capacity. Hi, Matthew. My name is blah, blah. I am your account success manager at Lob. I have no idea who this person is. I've noticed that there's been a recent increase in the number of mailings sent from your account, which is currently on pace to exceed your subscription's capacity. I highly recommend upgrading to the next edition of Lob to increase your account's maximum volume capacity, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, who are you? And apparently, for my subscription to Lob.
It's a good sign.
Yeah, I was excited to see that. Yeah. I don't know what it means.
Find out. I was muted with my other mic, but I was going to say that just to cap off what you were saying about prices increasing and all that.
Mm-hmm.
We often talk about but I say that on the sell side, that's typically where comes in. Like you could sell for 3,000, you could sell for 3,600, you could sell for 5,000, and these properties could all be located next to each other. But I think it's absolute acquisition side too. These people, this idea that they're getting all these offers, just because someone may have mailed them doesn't mean they even opened it. And you can buy things still at crazy prices because people just want to get rid of them, and it's just inefficient. So I don't think it's going to continually go. That I don't really buy that.
I think people use it as an excuse, honestly. And they're like, well, that one guy at Bandcamp told me that he got a lot of offers, so this business doesn't work.
Well, that's a great topic. Could you use to prevent you from taking action in this business? And
that's
unfortunately, that lack of abundance mentality that, hey, has ever been thought, right? London out there, and maybe sometimes people tend to just gravitate to one kind of area. But guess what? If you know this business well enough, you your range and your capabilities, because you are now, like it or not, an expert. Matt, you're becoming an expert, right? I mean, you know the markets. You know what something else might sell that's similar to what you're selling now. You have a good eye for it now. So you're not restricted. You're not, you can take the training wheels off, so to speak, right? And go and buy and sell land at your leisure. So I think that, so that's a great topic. Like excuses that could what are the fears, uncertainties, and doubts that could prevent you from being a successful land investor? And one of them certainly is, there's no more land out there.
Yeah.
Oh, it's all been bought up. Or
there's too many people doing it, or I don't know. There's
a person that's going to start literally like next year, and they're going to be a millionaire doing this business. So just let that sink in. That's the truth. Mm-hmm. And they're starting next year. All of you who are listening, you can start now.
Feel free to start now.
Yeah, there are all these barriers. There are all these barriers. The barriers to entry in this business are.
Catman.
Oh, nice. The barriers to entry in this business are low when you look at what is required as far as time and what is required as far as capital. Those barriers are quite low. But what you're talking about, Mike, is the mental barriers, and there are a lot of them when you're first starting out with this. I'm not an entrepreneur. I'm not a business guy. Doesn't matter. You're a fireman. You are a business guy. I'm a physical therapist, right? But as a physical therapist and a firefighter, we do the business just like Matt Forbes does. It's because we're able to follow a recipe. There's the scarcity barrier, right? Oh, we're all going to run out of land. That was a thing for me to get over when we first started out with this. What are some other things out there, guys, that are watching that have prevented you from taking action, or have maybe what things are in your way? Somebody says, "Hey guys, loved our coaching from Mr. Zano last night."
Ooh, what was that?
Nice. Who's that? Oh, that's Wayne Borger. That's a thing for me to get over. I'm a little hurt, Wayne, that you didn't call me, because we've talked.
Matt, your quote from about connecting the dots, that was who was that? Steve Jobs? Whose quote?
That was Steve Jobs.
Yeah. So
yeah.
What makes you think is that you don't necessarily. I mean, you can literally take the belief out of this and follow the necessary actions and become successful. But I think that the belief part of it just makes it a little bit more enjoyable along the way, rather than stressing it out. Believing that if you do mail so many letters, you are going to get so many potential deals, and then you're going to close on them. I think that, but really what's required here, and I was writing about it to myself in my journal this morning that I do every morning, is that the action itself produces success. Your belief in it, yes. That's your choice. But, if you eat a bunch of junk food, you don't have to believe that you're going to get out of shape, right? It's going to happen either way, right? depending on a couple other factors as well. But if you do what we recommend, if you follow the flight school, even if you didn't like believe it, you just did it and just like got rid of that doubting mind, that sort of, or that mind, not even the doubting mind, but the inaction mind, the mind that just like doesn't take action. If you got rid of that and just did the things that you had to do, you would experience success. But I think with the Jobs quote is kind of cool because he's putting that sort of anticipation and belief and sort of positive spin on. So you have an enjoyable day because you know it's good. Now you add to that the fact that you know this is going to work if you do it, and that sort of brings optimism and hope and enjoyment to the process. But not really required, but it might make it a little bit more enjoyable.
Well, and in this business, what are the things that are going to connect the dots in the future in this business? Keep it simple. There's two things: mailing and marketing. Those things connect the dots in this business. And, Mike, you and I, and Forbes, you too, we've talked to people in the past. They're frustrated with this business. But then you start diagnosing what's going on. Well, let's talk about this. You're frustrated because you haven't had any sales. Well, how long have you had the property? A week? Oh, well, how long have you marketed the property? 2 days? Yeah. Don't be frustrated.
That's the best one. We were like, how long have you had it? Like 6 months? Like, wow, that's a really long time. I've sold 11 properties that are identical to that in the last 6 months. What have you done for marketing? Well, I posted 7 ads.
Yeah.
Like a whole 7 ads? All of them? Like one more than 6? Wow. But definitely like 100 less than 107. Yeah. Okay. Are you doing the things that, like, are you taking the action? You're not taking the action. You don't get to post an ad. It's not how it works. Gotta post.
I love how you just said diagnose too, and what you're both talking about, the way you're talking right now. It's like you literally can listen to somebody almost like a doctor and give them a prescription. Okay, you need to do X amount more mailings, X amount, and it's like, okay, tell me what's going on. And if you do this business long enough, you can literally be like, oh, this is what you need. Here, take these. Do this 10 times a day, and watch your results.
Well, it's just faith. It's just people, when they're new, you don't have the faith that it will work. And so you question it. Even if you know all the answers, even if you go to flight school, you can still question. I mean, I think most people are forced into action, so it's okay. But, you got to have faith. You got to go connect the dots, right? You just got to go do it.
God forbid you then have a little bit of doubt and ask somebody who's never heard of the business, like, hey, about this business venture, and they ask you what you're doing. You're like, what? Are you crazy? What? Yeah. Because it's such a unique niche that you're not going to find a lot of people that are going to be like, oh, that makes a lot of sense. I mean, if they really heard it, they would. But if they don't know anything, what?
I've never. I actually got in a bar at a corporate retreat with a private equity guy.
Yeah.
And I don't know. We stopped talking about my regular, and we quickly started talking about land because it's in multifamily. And in minute 1 of talking about land, he was like, "This is the dumbest thing I've ever heard." And I'm like, all right, settle down, big nuts private equity. Let's go. Right now, me and you, let's do this. And by the end of it, I had the whole bar listening. And I'm like, all right, you guys tell me, because I've only been doing this for 6 months. Am I out to lunch with everything I just said and the returns and everything else? Or is it just you've never heard of it and you're skeptical of anything you haven't heard of? Do you have any questions I haven't answered? Right. And like people at the bar were like, no. That seems really logical, and it seems like it would make sense. And if you just went out and did it enough, you'd get good at it, and there'd be like that would work.
Right.
And even the PE guy was like, I wonder if my company could get involved. I'm like, yeah, no, it doesn't work like that for you. Your private equity guys, go away. But I won, you lost, you buy the scotch, let's go. And if I was like, awesome. If I can get that guy to see the light, then I can get anybody to see the light.
That's awesome. Got a few people chiming in. So David Lamantia is here. Hey, boys. Peter Zerios is here. Cheers, gents. David and Peter, you guys are just tuning in, but we're talking about taking action in the land business and how that's more important than our fears, than our perceptions, and that action will connect the dots in the future in this business. So if you guys have any examples of that, throw it in there. William Bill Janesco says, I'm working on setting up my business infrastructure now. That's awesome. So,
Awesome.
I guess my question to you, Bill, is that's awesome. Like, what level are we talking? And, I think there are a couple different approaches in this business. There are some people who, like I did, I did most of the work the first few years. And then I finally got smart enough to outsource and build my infrastructure. There are other people, and kudos to them, like Matt Forbes, who kind of build the infrastructure first and then start doing more deals.
Not necessarily recommended.
But look, you're what, 2.5 years in and on the verge of 10K a month passive?
Yeah, no, it doesn't suck. I'm not saying it can't work. I'm just saying that, from somebody who did it the slow, horrible way, like Bosman, in terms of getting everything outsourced, I think you would agree. I bet you wish you had done things faster.
Yes.
I'm on the other side of that, and I certainly agree that I had wished that I had outsourced things a hair bit slower.
Right. I think there's a happy medium
in there, and I don't think you or I hit it.
I think you're right. I agree.
Works, but,
yeah. Was there ever a time, Matt, since you did outsource very quickly, probably quicker than most people I know, or maybe all, that you did something that, and you're saying that because Mark always says the word, I think it's abdicate. Like, did you not fully grasp it and it was already outsourced? Was there any of that danger where it was something that was like uncontrollable, like you let this beast out that you didn't really have a full grasp of what you were outsourcing? Did that ever happen?
The only thing that kind of happened like that was with my intake manager, but he was so solid that I rolled the dice and I got away with it, which was cool. So that was fine. So that worked out, right? I think to a certain extent, it was hard to get the VAs going in the right direction because I knew theoretically what I wanted to do, and I had done it a few times, but I hadn't done it 100 times.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was a little troubling. But I'm an outsourcer kind of guy, right? I've always been that way. So that was always going to be my natural tendency. And I have a full-time job and, all that kind of stuff. But yeah, if you outsource it too fast, you run into like weird, you run into money problems pretty quick, like much faster than you would otherwise. Cause you're putting all that money you're making back into the business. Mm-hmm. Right. And you're losing money. Right. Most people who do this start to break even, I think, fairly quickly. Right. And because you're doing the work yourself, you might still be reinvesting all that money, but you're not losing money, where I was physically writing a check to the business, right? Because I had outsourced stuff. So I was upside down for a long time. Well, not a long time, but yeah. So that was a little bit more difficult.
Okay.
Awesome. We got some other questions. I also put in the chat, please tell us about your recent deals. Give us the numbers. We love hearing the numbers. Here's a question from Brad Donzi. What are your top 3 conversation follow-up questions when you get the question, is this still available? Now, Mike, you and I have talked about this before. We were live in the Facebook group a couple months ago. We had a good conversation about this, so I'll see if I can find the link and throw it up here. We had probably a half-hour conversation about this, but it'd be fun to revisit it again, so let's revisit it again. So, top 3 strategies for answering the question, is this available? Forbes, give us one.
Hold on 1 second. I know I was talking about that one with somebody else here the other day. Give me 1 second and let me just go check. That's my number 1 strategy. I want to create urgency for sure. I also, by the way, have no idea what's in my inventory. So I literally do need to check. Like, that's a real thing. But even if I did know for sure I had it in stock, right, I would still be like, yep, hang on 1 second. I'm not sure, because I want to add urgency into it.
All right. So here's my follow-up question to that. Is that what you have your kids saying when they're working for you, when they're slaving away for you on Facebook Messenger before dinner? They're talking to the guy?
Yes.
Nobody
Yes, it
eats
is.
unless they get me 10 leads.
That's right, baby. You want to buy that video game? It's going to be $80. That's 80 leads, kid. Let's do it. I'm actually going to replace. I just fired all my kids. I fired my 3 children. Actually, I'm going to outsource them because, well, they did a great job, but it's sort of unfair. They have, school, and they're 10, 13.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So
I thought this might be because they actually all started their own business and fired you. No?
No. So I don't know if I've shared this, but my middle kid, I have 4. So my middle oldest is a saver. He doesn't spend his money ever. He's got like $1,800 in the bank. And I'm like, dude, you're 12. That's awesome. And then my 13-year-old, who's the oldest, has 47 cents in the bank. Yeah. Maybe. He spends it as fast as they're like the two polar opposites. And so he came down and was like, I really want to buy this steering wheel for this racing game. He's big into F1 racing. He wants to be a race car driver. And I'm like, well, $300. And he's like, okay, then I'm going to borrow money from Jack. And then we're going to go, can you mail? You said you would mail those RV lots. Will you go mail? And then I get to buy the property, and then I'll go sell it. And I was like, absolutely. No problem. And I went into LG Pass. I'm like, mailed. I just mailed the whole county. Go. I even gave him a 3% price increase, PJ. So hopefully we'll get a few back. And he's like, yes. I'm like, do you have the money from Jack? He's like, no, I haven't talked to Jack yet. I'm like, well, we just gotta go, kid. I mean, they're bye-bye for the gas, and then I'll go flip cash. Right. Yeah. And they don't really even want the terms. They just want to flip for cash and then reinvest. And you guys can't see that board, but I wrote in there $500, right? And then I draw 4 lines because the $500 is the investment. You'd make $2,000. And then that $2,000 is really 4 $500 properties. And then each one of those makes $2,000. We did the chain. And I'm like, and then at the end of that, you pay for college yourself. Look at that. And my oldest is like, I don't get it. And my middle oldest was like, I can pay for college myself. Okay. And I'm like, easy, Tiger, you're only 12. But yeah. So I don't know if legally a child can own property, like if you can be 12 years old and own property in Texas, but I imagine we're going to find out in probably the next 2 to 3 weeks.
Nice. That's all good. That's another powerful thing about this business is that the people around you, they eventually catch on. And it could be your children, it could be your family members, whatnot. But this business can trickle down to others. Zeno, it's done that for you with your son. I mean, he's following your footsteps also in the fire department, which I think is really cool. I'm a little bit jealous, honestly, that I can't work with my son at a fire department someday. I think that's really freaking cool. But I'm going to have my kid work with me in the land business.
Yeah, no, it's very pleasurable to be able to share the benefits and the what this can bring to someone's life, and not just the money, although that's great, but the ability to build a business, the knowledge, because then you can go do that. That's to me, that's just as valuable. My son's using similar principles with his plumbing business, right? It's all sort of related, and I think it's really awesome.
And then there's the money.
It's
like a money sandwich. Right? All the gooey stuff Zano talked about, who cares, whatever. And there's money on either side of that freaking sandwich.
Dollars coming in, dollars going out.
Yeah, come on, this stuff's addicting.
It is addicting.
Addicting once you get good at it. You're like, oh, that person just sent me a check for $10,000. I bought that thing for $19.
Can you imagine living on the side of some sort of riverbank where every morning you get up there and you could take and you literally pan and little flakes of gold, and then once in a while you get a big nugget? You'd be out there every morning. Yeah. Right? It's the same thing.
I was on a call with Mark earlier today, and we were talking about something. And yesterday I had gotten 8 or 9 Geek Pay notices. Succeeded. Right, succeeded, like all in a row. They all hit all at the same time, right? Like it's my most favorite part of the day.
Yeah.
Am I gonna get none? Am I gonna get 1 or 2? Am I gonna get like 7 or 8? Like it's just awesome. I love that. Like I want to give it its own special ring or something. Just free money.
Yeah, the Geek Pay ringtone, the Geek Pay alert. I love it.
You
Money,
set it
money,
up
money,
in your.
money.
You can do that in your phone, your iPhone.
Get the OJs going. Yeah, I love it.
All right, we got some comments. David LaMattia says that I pronounce his name correctly, and we need to we need to help Mimi with that. That's funny. We'll help her with that. Here's another statement from another. Here's a win from David. Actually, 2 sales today. Bought for 4,000, sold for over 12,000 terms total. So he's 4K all in, selling for over 12K on terms.
Not so bad.
Not so bad. That's awesome. Congrats to you, David. That's amazing. I know, David, you started coaching, I believe, so hopefully that's going well. Chris Hernandez is watching. Chris, you've got to have a deal. You have to have had a deal recently. Tell us about it. William Janesco says, here's a question. Do you use a mailing, forwarding, and phone service for your business? What do you guys use for mailing and phone?
Traveling mailbox.
So, like a digital mailbox?
Sure.
Or does he mean like Ring Central?
Well, I think
he might be digging it. So a very simple way to do that is a Google Voice and a digital and a virtual mailbox. So I think that might be sort of what he's getting at. If he's talking about when we're buying property and we're sending out offers, a very simple thing anybody can do is get a Google Voice, right? Because then you can just look at the transcription and the Google Voice. That Gmail that has the Google Voice associated with it can have your virtual mailbox connected to it, and can have a fax number connected to it, and it is your email, so it's email, so everything can sort of land there.
Yeah, so he's saying instead of your house address and phone, what options? So like you said, Google Voice, Ring Central.
That's the cheapest option.
Yeah, Google Voice is free. Ring Central is what, $10 a month. Freedom Voice is a good one. I'll let you have multiple voice mailboxes. And then
Rob's bought a Freedom Voice one today.
Yeah. And as far as a home address, I know people that still use their home address. I know people that use traveling mailbox. I know people digital mailbox. I know people that use PO box.
I just got a PO box last week. I've had traveling mailbox forever, but when people have to send me deeds, I was like, yeah, I think I'm done having them come to my house. So I just got a P.O. box. And where I live in Massachusetts, it's right on the Rhode Island border. So my P.O. box is very sneakily in Rhode Island.
What?
Good luck finding
Now
me.
the whole world knows.
The whole world, exactly.
1 million watchers.
Watches.
472,000 people are going to watch.
Awesome. Bill also says, I'm trying to get my kids in the land business with limited success. Yeah, I mean, I think it all... in my household, it's all a matter of osmosis. Like, they looked at me like I was nuts 5 years ago when I was out there stuffing envelopes by myself and handwriting my first batch of envelopes. But then when you motivate them with, here, 10 cents a letter, stuff and lick, please, then they get a little bit more motivated. But then they, like with you, Forbes, I know you play cash flow in your family. I've played cash flow in my family. It's a great... Bill, I would recommend that for you and your kids, honestly. The cash flow game. Forbes, did you have the digital version or the actual board game version?
So I have the regular board game cash flow, and then I also bought cash flow for kids, but I'd already taught my kids how to play cash flow, so cash flow for kids was like super boring for them.
That's boring. There was an iPad.
Then they have
yeah.
There's an app on the iPad that does all the calculations for you. That's really the secret to having your kids do it, because there's no way they're going to do the math. Like if you play cash flow for real, you got like a calculator and that worksheet you have to use, right? And that it takes a really long time, and that's what really, changes your brain and rewires you. But everybody has it on their iPad, so they just have the app, and we can play in like 40 minutes.
Yeah, it's a fun game.
When I win.
Any other deals out there? Throw them up. Well, I read a book today I could share, since everyone's sharing their So
Sharing
I
is caring, Bosman.
I read this book today, Fail, Fail Again, Fail Better. Better. And it's by a best-known author, Pema Chodron. She had an interesting life. Like she kind of went through life and kind of did the traditional job, family, marriage thing, and then she kind of turned into a hippie, and then she actually turned into a nun. She became a nun. What?
Yeah, she's a student of Cho Jung Trungpa. There's a documentary on him, Crazy Wisdom. It was up in Vermont. He's a pretty cool dude.
I knew you would know this, Zeno. I knew you would know. But anyway, this is basically. Yeah. I read this book in one day. It's basically it's a transcription. It's a transcription of a commencement address she gave at a college back in 2014. And
I love commencement addresses. That's great.
Yeah, and there's a great Q&A section in the back that's a little bit more in-depth. But she talks a lot. Well, obviously, the book is Fail, Fail Again, Fail Better. So she talks about the failures in our life, in our lives, how we perceive them, how we get over them, how we should approach these failures as you would as if you're walking out into the ocean. You guys will appreciate this because you're close to the ocean. I can't quite do this in Wisconsin, but as you're walking out in the ocean, you get knocked over by a wave. What are you going to do? Are you going to lay there, or are you going to get up and keep walking? So we have no choice. We can't lay there. You're going to inhale sand and water and die, right? So you got to get up, keep walking into the waves, and eventually those waves are going to smooth out. So that was a great analogy that I enjoyed, talking about failures. I'm losing you guys. I think my network is not good. Can you hear me, Forbes?
I hear you. Yeah, I think we're just obsessed with this notion of walking into water and getting knocked over.
Oh, did I cut out?
No, I heard it.
Okay.
Just sort of walking through it.
You're loud and clear.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah, slow down.
And then she talked about another thing that is actually similar to the quote that you were talking about earlier, Matt Forbes, the Steve Jobs quote about how we get to these moments in life where it's like, what next, right? Like when you graduate high school or when you graduate college, there's this big moment where you kind of wake up one morning and it's like, what next? And some people, they perceive it's a very helpless feeling. They perceive it as kind of a downward spiral. But what you need to do is perceive that as a realm of possibility instead of emptiness, right? It's not emptiness, it's possibility. So I thought that was really cool as well. So I would recommend the book.
That's cool.
It's a good book.
All right.
Chris Hernandez, nothing crazy. Had a couple wholesale deals that doubled my money and bought one for $3,500 and sold for over $10K on terms. It's nothing crazy, but it's consistent.
No big deal. I just made, $6,500. It's all good. Nothing to see here. I love how we talk about these deals. It cracks me up every single friggin' time. No big deal. I just made $6,000 out of thin air. No big deal. It's all good.
Yeah, well, this whole business is predicated on bread and butter, no big deal deals. That's the whole idea behind it. That's the beauty behind it. That's why it's something you can do over and over again. It's not some big, huge deal that money's going to be out there for long. It's not like that. It's just we're in the penny stocks of real estate. We're down here, but the returns are great. The money comes back quick, and we can do it again and again.
Yeah.
That's a big deal. That is a big deal. That's exactly right.
Be excited. Yeah, that's awesome.
Anything else out there, guys? Any other questions, comments, concerns? Any topics you want us to talk about tonight or next week?
I have a question.
We didn't finish this. Is this available? But go ahead, Forbes. What's your question?
My question is, if you were new to this business, why wouldn't you be asking the two of you 5 questions a week on Nightcap? I will never understand it. I stood up in front of an entire boot camp group and said, "What the hell is wrong with all of you?" And they looked at me like I was a jerk, and I am. It was cool. And I'm like, they're begging for your question in the morning and be part of the show.
I don't know. Maybe it's
questions answered.
Maybe it's the lack of robes and swiveling. Maybe we need to do that more.
Back, and we need to bring back the
segments. Yeah. What were we going to talk about? Sorry.
Maybe we're just. No, that's what you're saying, Scott. We don't have robes, and so we're just babbling on here without any.
Oh, there's a good comment.
Oh,
because I never know when you guys are going to go.
Now I have a bone to pick. Because I'm pretty good. We usually set announcements in the Mighty Networks group and in the Facebook on Mark's Facebook page. I try to create. I will say, it is either Wednesday. It's either Wednesday or Thursday night at 10 p.m. Eastern.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even know when this. I literally have to box you two.
Stop.
Monkeys on a Wednesday, so I'm with him.
So Wednesday or Thursday night at 10 p.m. Eastern. Clear your calendars.
We're gonna start.
My point is that even I don't know, and I'm on the show.
We're gonna plan this thing out month at a time from now on. Right. That's a good idea.
Oh, are we?
Are you?
I'd like to hear. Okay, so hey, that Forbes, that just prompted questions. Like they're just coming out like crazy right now. You ready?
Good, because what? Hold on. Do you guys know why I'm on Nightcap? Let me explain to the
because you're the refill guy.
I'm on Nightcap. I don't work for Mark Podolsky. I got nothing to do with this cat other than I love him and he changed my life. Right? I'm on here because I weaseled my way on this show so that I could ask the questions that I needed to get answered before, during, and after the show with these two goons. And then we all kind of became friends, and then like now I stay on all the time. But that, like, I can't believe that people aren't here like religiously like I was before I was on the show. I mean, you guys started right when it was only a few episodes, but
right.
I was like, God, I'll go and ask questions. It's free. Literally, it's free. You have questions, you have stumbling blocks, and there's Mike Zano and Scotty Too Hottie Bosman waiting to
Scotty
answer
Too
them.
Hottie, I like that.
My God, people.
Scotty Too Hottie in the house.
I'm blushing now.
Over.
Well, you know what? I think the reason we all keep doing this every week is because we are passionate about this business. It's changed our lives, and we want that to trickle down to others. We really do, because we know how amazing it feels. So,
yes.
All right, here we go. Is anyone having network issues? I am, so I apologize about that. Let's see. That was weird. I'd like to hear about.
Is that a question someone asked?
Yeah, is anyone having network issues? I am. I'd like to hear about how you guys got unstuck when you felt stuck in marketing and sales. That's a good question. How did you get?
Great question.
How did you get unstuck when you felt stuck? Because we have all been stuck, all three of us. I know that.
This could actually dig into what the roundtable is coming out next week. That was sort of. Remember we were talking about the dip. That's coming out next week.
I was unfortunately not on that roundtable this week, but.
Oh, then you can answer it here.
Okay, I'll answer it here. What? Well, how do you get unstuck? You don't stop. You just don't stop.
But if you are stopped though, if you're stuck, like. All like screeching ball bearings are frozen, like you can't move forward. How do you unstick yourself?
Then you conquer the emotion aspect. You throw the emotions out the door. It's not about emotions, it's about what we were talking about earlier. It's about action. If you're stuck On deal flow, you're going to do one thing tonight. You're going to make a to-do list for tomorrow, and your one thing on that to-do list is to mail out 20 offers, and you're not going to go to bed tomorrow night until you have it done. Same thing with a sale. If you haven't had a sale, you're going to set 3 ads tomorrow. You're going to make it really objective, put it on a list, put a checkbox next to it, and do that tomorrow, and then you're going to do it the next day and the next day and the next day. And you may not feel like you're getting anywhere, but eventually those actions are going to help connect the dots in the business.
Yeah.
As you answered sort of just like I did on the roundtable, I referenced a book that I think you told me about, the obstacle being the way, the obstacle is the way. And, whatever you're stuck on, don't run from that. So like if you're not having acquisitions, certainly don't. But this sounds really simple, but people tend to do the opposite. Okay, I'm not getting any acquisitions, so I'm just going to stop mailing. This isn't working. And then guess what? You're going to get less and less and less, and you're going to wean yourself right out of the business. If you're not making sales, you might say, well, I'm not putting any more ads out. This isn't working. And then you're going to get the potential buyers are going to go smaller, 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 and you're going to be off doing some other business venture, So I think the obstacle being the way is whatever the problem is, double down on it. And sort of what we talked about earlier, just knowing that the dots are going to connect. If you keep going, and you got to listen to the market too. There's that part of it. I mean, if you're not getting accepted offers, and you're mailing one area like you should be, and you're consistently mailing that area, then you need to then at that point reevaluate your pricing, and that's good, and that's why we're very hyper focused. And that's if you're not selling something, well, you need to reevaluate what you're. A lot of people. This happens a lot at boot camp. You guys remember these exercises where we do. Okay, we're going to get a property. Y'all bought it, then the next day we're all going to sell it. And what do they always say? It's like, we just want $500 down, a $500 doc fee, and the first month's payment of $500. That way we're all out in the first payment. That makes sense. We're going to do that. And it's like, yeah, that'd be wonderful.
Love
but
that,
what you want is not what's going to happen. You have to be able to adjust to what's going to really sell the property. So the market speaks to you on both sides of the equation, and I guess I'm referencing that because that's really the two biggest areas. I mean, if you're getting deals and you're buying and selling property, well, then you can figure out how to set up your notes in GeekPay. That's not a huge sticking point. I think really what's going to stick people here and it's going to keep them from. So someone's saying they're locked up. They're definitely locked up in either mailing or marketing, right? I mean, where else is the lockup going to be? I mean, that's the two spots, and so you got to take a deep dive as to what's really happening. If you're on the mailing side and you're having a problem, well, let's make sure number one, go back. I always say, like at the fire department, if we have a fire and we turn the hose on and there's no water, you don't freak out. You play it backwards, right back to the beginning. Like, okay, the truck's running. Okay, it's in pump, it's in tank to pump. Oh, it's in pump gear. Great. You follow it backwards. Well, you do the same thing to mailing. You go back. Are you mailing one area? Is your pricing consistent? Are you doing that every week? And how long have you been doing it? Because it takes about 500 letters out before you start really getting some good responses. And so, do you need to make an adjustment? On the marketing side, how many times are you posting ads? Are you really putting out enough ads? Is your pricing irresistible? Or is it what you want? I want all my money out on the down and the doc fee and the first payment. That's great.
Hey, what's up? So some guys having internet issues tonight. I don't know what's going on. It's never been this bad. So I'm here to apologize, and I feel bad.
What would Pema Chodron do? Come on.
He would get up, she would get up, and keep walking into the waves. Because you can't just lay there.
Who do we know who asked that question about the stuck thing?
Yes, it was Brad Donzie. Sounds like Fonzie.
Donzie.
It was Donzie.
It was Donzie.
So,
man.
All right. So I'm going to answer that question, even though, we're not online anymore. But you just have to decide. That's it. and I had to make this decision because I started the business and then I bought a bunch of property and I stopped for 6 months. You just decide. You commit. That's it. It's really, really easy. You just decide, I'm going to go freaking do the business and nothing's going to get in my way. Let's go. Now, what do I got to go do? And you do all the stuff that Bosman talked about. And you do all the stuff that Zeno talked about. But first, you got to decide. Is this what I'm going to go do? If you're really that stuck, that's what you got to do. I had to do that. It was either I was going to quit and own random property in Colorado, or for me personally, I was going to say the hell with it. We're going to go get coaching, and we're going to go sign up for coaching. And that's what Ann and I did. We were out of the business for 6 months. It was not going well. It was definitely kind of a shipwreck. And we said, okay, well, that's what we have to do. So that's what we're going to go do. And I called, I don't know who I called, but whatever. I signed up with Bosman the next day. That's how we decided. But you have to decide. So that's it.
Make a decision. I love it, dude.
Yeah.
It's simple.
And I'm not saying go sign up for coaching, for the record. That's not my point of this. But, like, you got to do whatever you got to do for you, but you got to decide and make it happen. Drugs are bad.
Drugs are bad. Don't lay on the ocean floor. Get up and keep walking.
Yeah.
All right, fellas. Well, we've been on for an hour, so we will be here. Zeno, are we doing Wednesday or Thursday next week? Let's just make an announcement right here.
Wow, that's super helpful. I like that.
What's today's date? What day of the week? Today's Thursday?
Today's Thursday the 8th.
Thursday the 8th.
Tuesday.
Thursday the 8th.
Wednesday.
We're doing Wednesday the 14th.
Yep.
Wednesday, October 14th is the next nightcap. Share your wins, share your struggles. Let's do this. And I will make an announcement tomorrow in the Facebook group and the Mighty Networks group. And Forbes, you can get in the Mighty Networks group, in the main group, and give people heck.
Listen,
Wait.
They got to seek out all their free advice they can get. It never made sense to me.
Hold on. ECAT Mars says we didn't see. I know who ECAT Mars is. That's a pseudonym, but you're right. I don't know. I feel like I know who you are.
Oh yeah, he had questions about deeds or trusts or whatever.
Oh, about trusts? Like, do we buy from them?
I don't know. Tell them we'll answer it next week, and we're really sorry.
All right. Somebody says, love you guys. Oh, that's nice. Be there Wednesday. I quit drinking, but I'm really into chocolate soy milk now, so that's my nightcap. Hey, it doesn't have to be alcohol. I mean,
we don't.
My dad drinks tea every night.
We don't judge.
Yeah. We only judge the three of us.
ECAT Mars, ECAT Mars, I feel like we've spoken. And I feel like, I don't know you, but I think I know who you are. But it's eluding me right now. Statutory trust setup.
About that at all. I know who you are.
No, yeah, come on now.
Weird.
Really? Is that weird? Come on.
Yeah, straight up, that's weird. Yeah, for sure.
Statutory trust setup. I have not set up a trust. You guys set up a trust?
I haven't either. For the business?
Yeah, I know Mike. I know Mark Podolsky set up a trust. I know Scott Tiles set up a trust because you might come into an opportunity where Mark knew he was sitting on $1 million deal or more. He's going to put that in a trust and he's going to save it for his kids down the road. So. And then there is Mark did have a podcast with what's the guy's name? I can't remember right now. No, I'm thinking of something different. So no, I cannot give you any guidance regarding that. ECAT Mars, AKA. All right.
You want what?
No, I'm just saying.
Yep, still creepy.
Why is it creepy?
You can't blow them out of the water.
What's that?
If someone's trying to remain anonymous, you can't dime them out. You got to let them remain.
You dime them out. I love the way you talk, Sid.
All right, fine.
Can't drop a dime on that guy. What are you doing?
All right.
Bada bing, bada boom.
Fellas, thank you for a fun time. Sorry for my network. I'll try to improve that by next week. I'll get on the phone with Spectrum and upgrade to that 1,000 megabyte download.
When did the shirts come out? I bought a Mind the Gap shirt for Am.
Yeah, I appreciate all the support.
They should come soon, and
appreciate all that support.
Rumor has it they're
anybody at support. I'm asking you.
We don't know.
No, I said I appreciate all the support buying the correct shirt.
Oh yeah, no, definitely not the donkey one. I bought the mind the dip one. Why would I buy the donkey one?
Listen, this is a good point you're bringing up because it's about attaching yourself to a horse's tail, not a donkey's tail. You know what the donkey's tail is like if you attach yourself to somebody with a negative perspective on all the potential you have, and they're going to just tell you, stay who you are, stay doing what you're doing, don't make any changes, go in a circle, you got a little rope tied to your neck, and you're going to walk in a circle. That's donkey. This is a horse. This thing runs free in the wild.
Okay.
All right.
By the way, okay, so I do like what the quote stands for, but can we just go back to the shirt for a second?
Yeah, right.
Can we go back to the picture?
I think it'd be better if it was a side picture of a stallion.
I mean, I'm looking at a horse's butt, and I'm looking at arguably a 9-inch fly. Like,
it's kind of like
things that are not making sense in this picture. So I didn't. That's not the shirt I bought. I like the sentiment though, Zeno. Don't think I don't appreciate that.
Zeno, I did think of you last night though when I was watching the vice presidential debate and that fly landed on Mike Pence's head.
Oh,
sat there for like 2 minutes.
Oh, that's the best.
It was funny stuff. Anyway, all right. We gotta go.
Wow, I'm all blurry.
You are blurry.
Super blurry on the feed.
I'm not blurry.
I am. That's weird.
Thank you guys for a good night. We'll see you next week, and we'll be back in better definition. Thank you.
Later, everybody.